So a few months ago, my husband was hit by a truck while riding a bicycle. And since then, he's had 3 surgeries. Needless to say, he has a lot of mental and emotional turmoil going on right now. He has a lot of anger about the accident. He has regret about how he rode the bicycle that day, even though the police report stated that it was not his fault. He's got depression, and he's got a lot of fear. Fear about his health, work, and uncertainty of his future. So even though I've been nurturing my spirituality for many years to practice the power of this present moment, to be Zen in the eye of the storm, I've had deep issues of fear that has come up through this accident, and I've been dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. And so I'm looking to my soul to help me find answers to help deal with this fear issue. And when I'm receiving from my soul, the messages that I'm receiving is that fear is my greatest teacher and classroom to help train my mind to be fully present in this moment. So fear in spiritual terms is part of ego, and ego is an identification with the mind, as Eckhart Tolle, one of our greatest spiritual teachers and the author of Power Now, says. It's really an identification with the mind. And what that means is that when we identify ourselves with our mind, we're actually identifying ourselves with form. So, for example, when we place labels on ourselves like I am moon, I am teacher, I am CEO, I am engineer, any of those labels are identification with form. And also identification with form is when you attach yourself to material things outside of yourself. Those material things are also form, whether it's attachment to other people, or whether it's attachment to home, attachment to money, attachment to car. Any identification or attachment with the form or the mind is the ego. And fear is very much part of the ego. Any negative emotions like fear, lack of self-worth, anger, frustration, depression is really the ego. And the ego is not really the truth of who we are, because the truth of who we are is really that pure positive energy of God and love. It's pure positive energy that we cannot see, smell, hear, or touch. It's what Eckhart Tolle calls the being, or you could say God, or you could say soul, or you could say spirit. So I like to compare our ego or fear to that of an onion. You know how onion has many, many layers, and then there exists a core? Where our ego or fear is those layers that we're trying to remove and peel to get to that core, the truth of who we are, which is really pure positive energy of God and love. That you cannot see, smell, hear, or touch. It's the being that we are. It's the God, it's the soul, it's the spirit, it's our higher consciousness. And we're just trying to peel away the ego, remove that, because that ego is really an illusion of who we are. And so when we practice mindfulness, we practice meditation, we practice the power of now, what's happening is that we're removing that ego, we're removing that fear to get to the core of who we are, which is that pure positive energy of God and love. So throughout this journey, while it's hard to see any opportunities from this adversity because they're physical realities that we're dealing with, right? There's issues of pain, there's issues of surgery. They're physical realities that we're dealing with because we have our senses. We have the sense of smell, hear, taste, touch, these physical senses. I know from the higher perspective, from my soul's perspective, that what it's telling me is that there are great blessings in disguises. There are amazing opportunities where if you can just lift your consciousness or perspective from that soul's viewpoint, from the lens of the souls, what we will see is the greatest opportunities to be able to train our minds, to train ourselves to really be present in the eye of the storm. That being fully present in the here and now is something that we must train ourselves to be unconditionally, regardless of our physical reality. So from that soul's perspective, fear now becomes the greatest teacher in really training ourselves to be present in the now. So prior to the accident, I actually visited a Reiki teacher, Lauren, and a shamanic healer, Lily, in order to help me deal with these fear issues, because I've been dealing with fear issues for all of my life. So I actually was seeking help to help me be present in this moment, to help me deal with these fear issues even before the accident. So in my session with Lily, she had told me that I have 2 spirit guides that are with me all the time. And they're 2 of many spirit guides that are with me, because I believe that we have a team of spirit guides. And she said one was a Native American named Matza, and the other one was a white owl. And that made a lot of sense to me, because the white owl represents teaching, and I believe I'm teaching through my videos. And I named the white owl Lao Tzu after the great Chinese teacher Lao Tzu. And so she also said to me that my strongest element is really water. And that made a lot of sense, because throughout my whole life I've had disturbing dreams about water. I have huge fear of water, like the big waves, like tsunami waves just taking me over, or that I'm drowning in water. I've actually had an incident when I was a child where I almost drowned in a lake, and right before I drowned, my father just pulled me up. So I've had fear issues with water my entire life. So after my session with Lily, I went home and decided to do a meditation just on fear to help me deal and resolve these fear issues. So in my meditation, what I decided to do was I'm gonna face one of my biggest fear, which is water. So what I do in the meditation is visualize myself standing on a beach with Matza, my Native American spirit guides, on my right-hand side holding my hand, and Lao Tzu, the white owl, sitting on my left shoulder. So they're protecting me, they're with me. And then I visualize us just standing at the beach with a big tsunami wave approaching us. It's just like 100 feet wave just approaching us. And so now I'm facing my fear, and as it approaches us, the entire wave just overtakes us, and now we're completely submerged underwater. And now that we're submerged underwater, I've already faced my fear of that tsunami wave. Now we're under the water. It's peaceful. It's fine. I see the fish. I see the coral reef. I see the reflection, the beam of light of sun just coming right through the deep ocean. I mean, it's peaceful. It's serene. It's okay. In the power of now, it's okay. And then I see myself like swimming with my Native American and with my owl, just swimming through the ocean and just seeing the beautiful wonders of ocean life, the sea world, and knowing that everything is peaceful, feeling really aligned with the core of who I am, which is this pure positive energy of God and love. Just knowing that everything is okay in the here and now. That tsunami wave was just a figment of my imagination. Fear is really just a figment of our imagination, a story that we've created in our minds, that identification with the mind. That's what fear really just is. It's a story. It's an identification with the mind. And so then I see myself just standing there again, and the wave just receding back into the ocean. Back into the ocean, and I'm standing there in stillness with my owl Lao Tzu and my Native American on the right-hand side, Matzas, and everything is fine. And that fear has now subsided. It has subsided. It has gone with the ocean. It has gone with the wave. As the tsunami wave is receding, that fear has just dissipated. It's been removed from my mind. And now my ego layer is just being peeled away. So obviously the purpose of this fear meditation is to help me deal with fear better by helping to remove that fear ego layer from my mind, right? because fear is ego. And so this meditation really helps in 3 ways, in 3 steps. The first step is that I acknowledge the fear by visualizing the big tsunami wave approach me, right? So now I'm saying, I'm acknowledging that you exist. And then step 2, I visualize the tsunami wave overtaking us, overtaking me, Matsas, and Lao Tzu. It's just overtaking us and we're submerging under that wave of water. So step 2 is really to be able to face the fear. Now I'm facing that tsunami wave and therefore facing fear. And then step 3, by visualizing the underworld sea, like all the fish and coral reef and the sunlight just coming through, I'm visualizing serenity and peace, that it's okay. That fear is not ruling my life anymore. That it's okay right here, right now. That there is beauty in this moment by visualizing the beauty of the sea world. So I'm making peace now with fear. And by making peace, I'm dissipating that fear in my mind. And what is really powerful about this meditation is that it's allowing me to be fully present with fear, which means that I'm fully present in the power of now. And it is when we become fully present with the power of now that we start to peel away the ego layer of fear to get to the core, which is the truth of who I am. Pure positive energy of God and love. So in this eye of the storm, fear has really become my greatest teacher in training my mind how to be present in this moment with fear to help dissipate and deal with fear on a day-to-day basis. So really, there are blessings in disguises. You can turn adversity into opportunities if you can take your fear and be present with it and allow the truth of who you are to really shine and come through. So if you have a story about fear where you were able to use your fear in a way that makes you more present in the now, please share your stories, because your stories, your experiences, your feedback really help me and my community at large. And if you like this video, please make sure to share it and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to visit all of my spiritual and holistic living tips, just go to my website at yinyangliving.com. Namaste.